Hello and welcome to another episode of The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Dylan.
I'm upset.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. We have our good friend Dominic here with us today.
Hey, good to see both of you guys.
Yes.
But
okay.
they can't see us. That's the best part.
I know, yeah. That's how
they
this...
can't watch us.
That's
shame.
how this show goes. What was the old phrase you said? I'm going to fester on my shame.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and just say it right here. We recorded for maybe just a few minutes, and for some reason it didn't actually record. So
it's all gone.
It's okay. We got this though. we definitely talked about the different eras and what they mean. So we were trying to get Dominic kind of up to speed because this is his first time watching a Godzilla film, and we watched
a momentous occasion.
We watched Godzilla 2000.
Oh yes,
the first of the Millennium era. I almost said saga.
Saga.
You
could call it a saga.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So first of the Millennium saga, and we basically talked about how throughout the eras it kind of felt like it was a little more animated, a little more fun, lighthearted, and this is the first one where it feels a little more like gritty and dark, and a little bit more serious. Yeah. What were you saying right before we got so rudely interrupted by
I don't remember.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
So,
okay,
you guys who are coming to this podcast, in my opinion, are in for a treat. I don't want to get your expectations too high, but
we promise nothing.
But Dylan is really well versed in just the entire run of Godzilla.
I grew up on the motherfucker,
and then Ian has been introduced to Godzilla at least as far as I know.
He's growing up on the motherfucker.
And so he's being kind of ping-ponged around between the new and the old.
Right.
Meanwhile, I would relate it to someone saying, that I'm a Star Wars fan, but I've only seen the prequels. Mm-hmm. So, or the newest of the saga.
See, that's the nice thing is that nobody's gonna give you shit for that nowadays.
Oh yeah, only seeing the prequels. Yeah,
that's fine. I would definitely beat myself up, but in the same way, I was hesitant to say that I'm a Godzilla fan. I grew up. More so on the Matthew Broderick, and then the last couple of years, obviously with the new stuff coming out, I've seen those, and I realized that when those came out and they didn't line up with the Matthew Broderick, I was like, hold up, let me see what Godzilla is about, because this is cool, but this is really different. I was like, this is what Godzilla actually is. I was like, okay, I'm not a Godzilla fan. I enjoy it, but I want to learn more. So you guys are going to see. From my perspective coming in that way, what y'all might experience.
I almost wish I could be in your shoes right now. That is fucking jarring to me.
Oh yeah, a little bit. The thing is going from, and again, the listeners of this podcast will have been along my entire journey of me discovering and going through my revelation of Godzilla. And even kind of jumping from the new MonsterVerse stuff to like the old like Heisei stuff is a little bit more wacky and fun. It is a little crazy, but
the bones are there though.
But at the same time, it's like I said before we lost the section of the audio. I told you I was like, if you had any fun watching this Millennium series movie with the older ones, literally just sit back, buckle up, and just have a good time is the only prerequisite. You can go in, like, just don't have any preconceived ideas. If you can just go in there and just go like, this is going to be a fun time. Yeah. A lot of times you'll leave going, what a fun time that was.
Yeah, of course.
and that's great. It's pretty repeatable.
It's great if you know nothing about it. That way you don't have like any kind of bias towards it or anything.
Right.
Like, because I mean, of course, everybody's heard of Godzilla.
Of course.
I haven't met a single person who doesn't like Godzilla, at least the idea of him.
Right.
He's just a big old monster.
Well, yeah.
Classic stuff.
Sometimes a bit of a heart.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Sometimes even more so than others.
Fucking fists.
Yeah.
And that cannon,
Yes.
I'm telling you, man. He's got thighs.
A living death ray.
There are different iterations where you're like, damn, he's cheeked up a couple of times. Like he's got some thighs going on.
Ian's here for the curve.
I'm just saying. I have told Dylan the newest MonsterVerse version. I do love all the iterations. There are some that are more kind of kooky than others. But the new MonsterVerse, I just love how built he looks.
Oh, yeah.
I call him my big boy. He just looks like a big boy. I don't know what it is. He just has like that. He's got strong arms, but he also has that big old neck. I'm like, well, look at that guy. He just looks like he looks like a newer version. He looks like the same old Godzilla, but just he's been bulking up real hard.
He's been juicing.
He's been juicing.
Hitting up the reactors.
And I love it. And it's just so as I've told him and on this podcast as well, I may love different iterations of the suit, but for me, I think deep down, because he was the first iteration that I saw, the MonsterVerse version kind of has a special place in my heart.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
And when it comes to the enjoyment of the movie, I went in, not knowing at all what I was getting into.
Right.
And I had a blast with the movie. The first thing that got me was I was actually really surprised at how good the special effects were for this film. And just seeing the swipe of his hand and the perfect response of the building.
I think I just remember where I kind of left off last time. We were talking about the fact that they were all sets that were built.
Yeah.
There was actually fire on the set whenever, like a lot of times when they were like lighting things on fire.
Actual explosives.
But in like the older versions, what I was going to say before things went kind of wonky on us is that a lot of times they you can see in the older versions they implemented fireworks into like explosions. So a couple of times, like now it's all like red, but a lot of times when something explodes, it'll pop and explode and like it kind of looks like a red firework in a way. So like there's all these different iterations of it, and you can tell there's so much care into these like set designs and into all this, and it's kind of it's fun to think about the fact that a lot of these things were, you had limited takes. You can't really rinse and repeat this over and over again. Like, so
like he accidentally reduces a building to rubble, they're just going to be like, get the spare, roll that out real quick.
Right.
Someone clean up the rubble. Being an intern on this, I have 3 years of civil engineering and architecture and model building.
Yeah,
I did pyrotechnics for like 2 years with another studio. It's like great. When you come to work for us, you're going to be building 20 of the identical building just in case.
I would do that shit for free.
Right.
You wouldn't have to pay
I just want to
you
see
have
Godzilla smash it, bro.
That's part of the interview process is just know we want you to meticulously make this building look as real in mini scale as possible. Okay, cool, yeah, I got that, no big deal. But we're also going to destroy it. And not just destroy it. We're going to have a grown man in a lizard costume beat the shit out of it. And you're like, all right, I can do that. Yeah.
He's going to pretend to breathe radioactive fire.
And right.
And it's going to explode.
And there will be fire present. And I want you to be
He'll look at it, the suit will open its mouth, and then the building will explode.
Yeah.
And how you get the job is actually you take the red pen and you start marking up your own paper of like, please.
Great.
You're about to have radioactive fire go out of your mouth. You're so excited.
That's so awesome.
A dream come true.
Right. That's so fun. I love to be in those meetings. But yeah. So with that, like I said, we kind of talked about this a little bit as well, that the human storyline in some may be weaker than others, or some may be wacky and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of them that kind of deal with aliens and people that are like subterranean people.
Ceetopians.
One thing that I can say that's interesting, that I didn't realize until you told me this, is that how Godzilla kind of works throughout these eras is that they take the original Godzilla film from the 50s, the OG Godzilla,
and they just start from there.
And they kind of branch off. So like you have the start, and then Showa will kind of branch off into their like timeline of events.
Right.
And then by the time the Heisei kind of comes along, it still will reference the original series and kind of branch off from there and have a whole new kind of like timeline almost.
Right. Okay.
Almost like an alternative history or whatever, kind of, or a multiverse kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the same sort of thing for this one. I'm not sure if they actually touched on it in the Millennium.
They actually didn't. They just treat him like he's established.
Right, yeah.
And he's been around a while.
Right. And even the multiverse kind of thing does some of that. Did the multiverse kind of talk a little bit about how, Or am I wrong?
You talking about the Legendary films?
Yeah.
I
meant, sorry, not multiverse, Monsterverse.
Oh, yeah. In the first one, the 2014 Godzilla film, they reference him as like this ancient apex predator that they were nuking Bikini Atoll to try and kill.
Interesting.
a while back.
Wow. But yeah, so that's kind of how some of that works. How there's like it all kind of starts at the same area, but they all kind of have their ways of getting to the end. Yeah. But anyways,
and they're all good.
They're all great.
I'm so looking forward to this journey of just experiencing all the different sides, spines, and blasts of Godzilla.
Oh, it's perfect. And boy, is it a blast! I'll tell you what.
After this,
mostly red blasts, apparently.
Right.
I got a couple of videos that I would be dying to show you, Dominic, if you're willing to watch them.
Okay. Yeah, no doubt.
Okay.
Okay, good.
This film kind of starts off with us. Again, like you say, they kind of start off with him being established.
He just shows up.
Right.
And does his usual.
We got our bad guy. Who was the bad guy?
Hold on.
I
forgot his name.
Yeah.
That's not surprising.
Like Kitsabori or something?
Katagiri.
Katagiri.
Yeah.
He feels like a bad guy.
The way he talks. Just the way he carries himself, it's obvious villain.
Oh yeah, big villain energy.
And maybe not even like malicious, but like, I don't care. I'm gonna blow this monster up because I mean, this is the guy we would be rooting for if we were in this scenario.
Right. Yeah. He goes,
but he still comes off as a smug prick. So we hate him.
He goes into, or he takes this approach of trying to get rid of Godzilla
by any means necessary.
Right, attack him like any of us kind of would. And then you got Professor Shinoda, which is like trying to study him.
Right.
Which again, usually in a Godzilla movie,
it's reasonable.
There's reasonable. There are people
he's not like an activist. Like, oh, just leave him alone. He's
right.
Just another animal. It's like, no, dude. This is like a great white has sprouted legs and is now in your house
with a gun
with a shotgun
for a mouth,
with a flamethrower for a mouth.
Right. So yeah, he's not insane. He realizes that he's dangerous and needs to be contained and fought against every now and then.
Right.
But he ain't useless.
He's got so I'm sorry, talking over you, Dylan.
No, you're good.
But at the same time, I think that one of the things that makes our villain really frustrating is that he kind of follows your typical approach of, oh, wow, that's a really big lizard. We should probably shoot it with something. What's the biggest thing you got? Yeah. We have this, it's destroyed everything else. Like, well, we fired at Godzilla and it hasn't done anything. Like, keep firing the same thing at him.
Do it anyway.
Oh yeah. And spoiler alert, that is a running trend. Is it like how many tanks do we have? Okay, cool. Go ahead and double that.
Yeah.
And we're not getting anywhere, sir. Doesn't matter.
We have to justify our military spending somehow.
Right, yes.
Throw those men at their deaths.
Throw all of them there.
Right.
Sometimes it gets more elaborate, and you're like, there's even bigger rockets.
Okay,
they got fire all of them.
Actually got some new shit. They got a plan.
Yeah, okay. And it still does not do nothing. He's still standing there going, ah!
Right, instead of throwing regular rocks at him, they throw slightly fancier rocks.
Right, shinier rocks.
Yeah.
Anyways. Sorry, what were you saying?
And so with that, and I think it's easier to dislike the villain because he's spending a lot of money, he's endangering his troops, and he isn't actually helping his nation or protecting the people he's pledged to protect.
Right.
He's just causing a lot of collateral damage to Tokyo.
Right.
He's acting like he's another monster in the ring with the motherfucker.
Right, and the actor does a really great job of flaring his nostrils, so you know he's taking
this
it
motherfucker
personally.
has the glare.
And the funny thing is, like, he is always. It's the one thing I love about this that I never realized until like halfway through this film is that he's always there. Is like no matter what's happening,
he's on the front lines.
He's on the front lines, or sometimes like Godzilla's on the move and he's in a helicopter behind him. And you're like, how'd you get there? You weren't there a second ago. You were in a board meeting, the last scene, and now you're like, I legitimately, I'm not saying this sarcastically. I love like smash cuts that happen in Godzilla. Because sometimes they're really funny.
Oh, they're beautiful.
And especially in like I said, I always bring up the Heisei era because it gets a little wacky then. But there's a couple of cuts that they'll just like hard cut to like what we're like having a serious conversation, and then like boom, we're like doing something else, and it's very
dinner on a yacht.
It's very offbeat, and you're like, oh, okay,
that's like sure,
yeah.
And one of the things that I've just really liked about this movie is you had these just black and white like style characters. Like you had like,
oh yeah,
well, first this is going to create like a triunary pulse. It's going to affect like the plasmic shift. Like
excuse me,
and it's like, yeah,
you're a 5-year-old,
and it's like, yeah, exactly. We're doing all these things. Like
you're in middle school. Stop.
What are you talking about?
And then the next scene, it's like you have this idiot character. Like, did you see that flying ship?
Did you see that flying rock go by?
You mean the one that almost killed all of us? Yes, yes, I saw it.
My favorite bit in this movie is whenever there's dudes like in some sort of research facility. We get tremors, earthquake type shit. Clearly evidence of a monster.
But before you continue, may I say, there are some beautiful shots that happen.
Oh, yeah.
This scientist comes into the room, he sits down at his desk, and he takes his glasses off and puts them on his keyboard. Mm-hmm. And it's this beautiful shot that's so simple. It's just a picture. It's just the picture of the keyboard with the glasses on it, and there's a printer that's like printing out stuff. And all of a sudden, the tremors happen.
Yep.
Papers are kind of getting shuffled everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
And then continue.
Now, as soon as he, like, is, of course, obviously, they're, like, alarmed by this.
Shaken up, literally.
Right. It's like, oh, God, he's fucking back. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And then his fucking coworker runs in and is like, did you feel those tremors? And I'm like, no, I didn't.
Oh, man.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. Dude, I just had, like, way too much coffee. I'm shaking like
I thought I was
crazy.
on speed.
It was amazing. Dude, they just
some real bad stomach ache.
Right. But it's that kind of stuff that's like, it's so simple, but it's so fun, and it's funny at the same time. Mm-hmm. But like I said, no matter how many times we like cut to Godzilla, our guy Katagiri is like right around the corner somehow. He, like I said, the last scene,
lurking.
He could be somewhere else. He could be having a full-on conversation. We can smash cut to the next scene. Godzilla is in the middle of doing something or in like a pond or whatever, and then like it like pans down and Katagiri's just like,
If you
just
look
staring
really
at
close, you can pause any frame of this movie and he'll be there.
Yeah.
You just gotta zoom in.
You just gotta find him, and he's there. And it happens numerous times. There's like
the Katagiri everywhere system.
Yeah, right. He's always looming over him like, I'm gonna get you. That's what it feels like.
That is my favorite bit in like any comedy ever. Like, boyfriend calls girlfriend like, hey, I'm about to play some video games and I just want to know if you want to come over and play. Like, oh, I thought Kevin was going to be there. Like, no, it's just going to be me. Oh, it was 1 second. I hear a knock at the door. I got to opens up and says his girlfriend.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
I made it.
Sorry, it took me so long to get here.
And like hangs up the phone. That kind of thing of like, Katagiri is like having lunch in Guatemala talking about the Godzilla incident.
Yeah. And the second there's reports.
No. Meanwhile, Godzilla is currently tearing up his office building.
right.
And then the next scene, he's down in
there.
the basement. Just
he's on the roof.
He's like, what is happening?
He's like, hey, stop that right now.
Oh, man. It's true. It's not as crazy as that, but it does feel like that a little bit.
Right.
Like I said, he could be somewhere very distant away, and then of course, and sometimes it's just subtle. You just get like just a little peek at him. Yeah. Like I referenced that one time where like I want to say he's in a board meeting talking about what they needed to do to like stop Godzilla or to get a better understanding of him or the space rock, which we'll get to in a second.
Solar powered space rocks.
They have these helicopters, and I mean he is standing there. I think I'm almost certain he's like watching some of the helicopters go out there, and then in like the next few scenes, he's in one of the helicopters, like looking over this rock, like I'm like,
that's a big ass rock.
I was like, when'd you get here? You were there. So, anyways, I think it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
And what you just heard of us like making up dialogue and putting like overly dramatic voices on these guys is exactly
that's just what they sound like
for like the full length of this film. Just like when Godzilla was in the fight, like half the time we're
what
like,
you do.
Oh, come on, you punk!
Yeah,
right.
Well, okay, so
punk particles.
That is a very funny thing that is a ongoing joke that Dylan and I have done.
Oh yeah,
and it comforts me every time I watch a Godzilla film, is that we give dialogue to the kaiju or the monsters in question.
Oh yeah,
and it always is so funny because again,
it's tradition.
It's tradition at this point, and I love that you picked up on it. I mean, right on the get go because I didn't even have to. I forgot about that until you mentioned it, but that is something that is very fond of both of us. And there's a couple of them that. Obviously, again, there's numerous shots of Godzilla throughout every single film of him standing there, rearing his head back and going,
yeah.
"Ah!"
Oh yeah.
And then, of course, I always love to go like, "Hell yeah!" just to
fuck you,
just to like put captions or to put dialogue over there because it just adds to that little level of comedy that's like we're already talking about monsters just punching the heck out of each other, and then just to have them say some dialogue is the best.
Godzilla versus Megalon will forever be the gold standard to me. That is the greatest Godzilla film ever made to me.
I'm
cannot be usurped.
6-point harness. I'm
he's locked in. And that one I think it does share such a nice place in my heart. Not only because it's so wacky and fun and crazy.
Half of it is Jet Jaguar. The other half is the rest of the movie.
That's crazy. But the fact that there are so many great opportunities for you to add dialogue into these already like crazy fight sequences. You're this is so unrealistic, but also funny and great. And you're like, and of course, as you're really rooting for a guy to go like. And like punch a guy, you're like, anyway, it's fun, and it's a great time. So, but yeah, with this film, the next big plot point we have is there's a, which may I say, once we conclude this thing, I have a life lesson that I think that we all, we all can summarize from this, and I hope you're all going to be on board with me.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
There's this meteor apparently at the bottom of the ocean,
landed on the Earth about 50, 60 million years ago.
What is it meteor then?
I didn't get there. So anyways, they're trying to dislodge it from like its pedestal that it's on.
They say the reason for this is that they say it's very magnetic and could possibly hold developments for new power sources.
Right, and especially because right now Godzilla's trying his best to. He's hungry, so he's like sucking up power stations and blasting them
wrecking
all up.
Shit.
And they're like,
job.
They're like, at some point we got to figure out something to do with power
about this fucking lizard.
About this lizard man. But they ended up attaching balloons to this rock.
Right, flotation devices.
And this is the part where Dominic was like, "I'm pretty sure you probably need a couple more than that." What was there, a 6, 8?
Yeah. So they were pretty big.
Well, so I'm not well versed in deep sea retrieval of wreckage, but I've seen a fair amount of recovery.
Oh yeah. And, I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong by any means.
It's that they're wrong.
And so watching it and seeing this this huge rock, and then they have balloons that are, less than 10% of the surface area, let alone the total volume of the structure.
They look like miniature hot air balloons.
Yeah, and they're going to just inflate them with, I can only assume like propane, something like that, and lift them up. And I'm just watching like, okay, I'm assuming props just didn't want that many balloons, but I think you'd need a substantially higher volume to displace that much water.
And this is when I told him, I was like, no, I don't think you realize is that they have a mixture of determination and sheer willpower underneath it, and you just got to want it.
Yes. Okay, and so then it starts like flying up.
Right.
And then it pops up out of the water, and I forget who said it. It was like, oh, they used too much determination. Right. And then later on, it turns out it's a ship, and it starts like chasing after people. It's like, whoa! It turned from determination to an indomitable spirit.
Yeah. Well, because at a certain point, like with the sun, it's on the surface of the water, and it blows up the balloons to get into the surface, and it just, it's far exceeding its expectation. I was like, that's it right there.
Like, okay, boys, tone it down.
Yeah, right. Slow down. But then, like at a certain point, it stands proud. Imagine like a
pancake.
Right.
You're baking it in the pan, and it just stands up.
It is a thin wide rock.
It takes the Ferris wheel position.
Right. And then, of course, it just stands up on its end, proud, at attention.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as Dominic said, it then begins to take off and fly. And it's like, well, now I don't know what the hell's going on here.
The
it's
rock
just
has started to move.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the scientists gives Katagiri a call and is like, "Sir, the rock called me a punk bitch and then told me it's going to go fuck my mom."
There's a point whenever the rock, it peers down at the boat. And apparently the rock starts to scan people. Yeah. And so as it's scanning...
I'm talking cell
level. It starts to get...
It gets in your DNA.
Yeah, yeah. And
just to figure out what you're made of.
And then as it zooms out, I was like... I said, all I think you're made of... Or what did I say? I was like, all you're made of is bitch. I think that's what I said.
It would appear as though you are made of wheat.
Yeah, exactly. And then, of course, it flies off at that point. And that's whenever the scientist calls. And I was like, what if the phone call... Or I think Dylan had said, what if the phone call was just like, the rock just called me a bitch and then flew away. And he's like, what?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Is understandably shaken at this revelation.
Right.
Like, it's like, what do you mean?
It's
the rock flew.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you throw it?
Nope. It just got up and went away. And then lo and behold, I mean, he's, Katagiri's on the front lines looking at
Godzilla has resurfaced and is now wreaking havoc as per usual.
As he should.
And they throw tanks, helicopters, jets.
All of it.
They throw
these special missiles.
Yeah, these newfangled missiles that do break the skin, but, not enough to really do anything.
Not enough to stop him, by any means.
Because it turns out that Godzilla has a super healing factor, which our main man scientist figures out.
Yes.
It decides to name Regenerator G1.
Right.
And the scientist who is paired with him, who is sometimes rival, sometimes giddy best friend, is just like, of course you should name it. It's the best name I've ever heard. It's like,
right. Ooh, like, okay. I mean, sure.
Usually scientists name it after themselves, like the Shinuda principle of
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Nah.
Shinuda's first law.
That makes too much sense.
Yeah.
No.
But, after they beat their heads against the wall with Godzilla, the rock arrives.
And not Dwayne. We're talking about the alien rock.
Well, yeah, because Dwayne and Godzilla could have had a much better fight.
Right.
He's floating about, decides to give Godzilla a scan. He's like, oh shit,
this guy's made of stuff.
This motherfucker's got that good
shit. Yeah, right.
So he promptly decides to shoot him with a laser.
Yeah.
Knocks him down a peg, and Godzilla's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, what are you doing? You're right.
So they have it out, do a little beam trade, knock each other down.
Yeah, a little back and forth.
Yeah, Godzilla's reduced to...
But Godzilla was only firing level 1 atomic breath at him,
He's just testing the waters.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to give a guy a fighting chance.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also part ship, part rock still. We're still trying to figure out what it is.
So he's like, what? Okay, yeah, sure. What do you got? What do you do?
Right.
He's used to other, relatively his size monsters, if not just a wee bit bigger.
Right.
But this thing is huge, and it flies. It doesn't have a vague, animal shape. So he's just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that, Frisbee?
Right.
A fucking flying turd.
You flew around, and I think Dominic was like, looks like a bicycle seat.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it does.
So it looks like a bicycle seat, and then it's roughly triangular, has lobes that hang over and an indentation on the bottom. Only thing I'm telling you, the only thing that makes it not bicycle seat is that it's a hump on top.
Yeah.
That's
right.
And I would love to know that the scientist, the set designers,
right,
made that and put a little on a bicycle seat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
just painted it silver and smoothed it out. Yeah, but there's a whole back and forth, and it's just like every other great Godzilla movie. There's a lot of good back and forth. There's a great fire and explosion effects and fun stuff, and then
pyrotechnics are off the chain.
So there was something else that happens besides the rock flying around and causing wreaking havoc.
Right. So after Godzilla finishes his first encounter with the thing, he retreats to the ocean to recuperate.
Oh, yes, right.
After which the rock has shed its rocky exterior and has become the aluminum bicycle seat that flies. After which it decides to head towards the city to a news station to gather information.
I love that this ship is a gossip hound. It's like, okay, I just did like a waylay on my main man, and I want to see like what's he really made of. What are these people talking about? Because I see he's got some strong stuff. Rep? So he Googles it basically and finally he's pulling stuff on off their computers and like
King of the Monster.
Oh, okay. Like this. Okay,
God of Destruction. Cool. Oh, that's not good.
I see some interesting cell stuff. Let's get some big scoop. So he finds like all of the gossipers in town. He's like, this is where they at. I know this is where they live.
Right.
He just literally parks on top of their building, just sitting there.
Yeah. And they're just floundering, not knowing what to do about it.
Every time. Don't they end up trying to destroy the building?
Yeah, they put explosives in this building just to, I don't know, try to destroy it and or stop it from gathering info. Because while it's just parked up there, they are able to figure out that it's the civilization it represents are trying to terraform their planet to make it suitable for them to create an empire on Earth.
And they have infrared scanners set up, and they see these infrared tentacles coming out and like poking into buildings and computers. Mm-hmm. Some people are like unplugging all of the like Ethernet cables and things, and then they unplug the power from the computers, and it's still powered. Like, okay, wait a second. This alien spaceship knows our hexadecimal computer codes, can provide a wireless signal and wireless power to all these computers, and then use infrared signal to pull information out. Like,
truly super advanced technology.
I'm just starting to think this thing ain't even real.
Right. Yeah. Right. But yeah, so it ends up, I think they're trying to blow up the top of the building, which does nothing.
Nope.
Doesn't stop it at all.
Oh, a mild irritation.
Yeah.
In fact, so like the ship is just surrounded by smoke, and obviously the smoke clears in a really cool, dramatic way. Mm-hmm. And the ship just like
unscathed.
No, and actually provides like it like sends a pulse down through the building like twice as big as their explosion. Like, I can just do that, okay?
Yeah. I don't think you
didn't do anything.
Right. If you're trying to threaten me, I'll just threaten you back.
It's like, oh man, that was cool. Hey, watch this.
It just explodes even more.
Right.
It's like two little girls like getting into a screaming match. Yeah. And one little girl like screams like your ears kind of hurt. Right. And the other girl like just screams back ringing. And like glass shatters and like bleeding from your ears. Like, okay, you got a point. You got the point.
The point across. Got it.
And it just moves on to a different building.
Right. And at this point, I'm pretty sure Godzilla comes back to try. And he tries to get seconds at this point. Because he's
got his theme music going.
Oh, dude.
I'm talking WWE type shit.
Yeah.
Making his entrance.
Speaking of, hold on. I'm glad you said that. Hold on.
Oh, yeah?
Wait. It says that the tagline of the film is
Get ready to crumble.
Yeah, let's get ready to crumble. Mm-hmm. A play on the line used in the WWE world, namely Let's Get Ready to Rumble. And I did not know that this was called Let's Get Ready to Crumble.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
I got a kick out of that. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
But yeah, he ends up trying to come back and duke it out. And then there's like this weird moment where
the saucer outmaneuvers him a good bit.
Yeah.
Like throws a couple beams at him. He's able to knock down a building like on top of Godzilla to disable him momentarily so that he can take his DNA and synthesize a being from his cells.
Right.
Which,
the regenerative ones.
Yes. And it turns out to be our old boy, Orga.
Yeah. I don't know what Orga is.
He is exclusive to this movie.
Oh, okay.
It says first and only appearance.
Have you guys ever seen the Sonic character Chaos?
Yeah, he does start off looking like fucking Chaos.
He looks like Chaos.
Oh, yeah, you're right, actually.
If you haven't seen it, there's a water being in the Sonic franchise called Chaos, and he basically is like a brain that kind of I don't think it's really water. Anyways, he turns into a big monster. You fight him in one of the games. It's kind of cool. You hit your super mode and all that kind of stuff. But the first time we see him, the tendrils come out and kind of are liquid looking, liquid metal or whatever. He's got this big ass head or whatever, and you're like, I was like, dude, it looks just like Chaos for a second. Right. Anyways, so
he starts looking around.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And then he starts freaking out, starting the transformation. Yeah. Adjusting to the atmosphere.
He starts turning flesh color, and I was like, nah, dude, don't do that.
I don't, no. And once it's complete, he is frumpy.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's got a hunchback and he's got big hands.
Yeah. And he almost whenever he's moving around at first, he's almost picking up his hands, looking at him like, what the
what is this?
What am I?
Oh my
God.
Is that
what I wanted?
Yeah. Actually, he puts his hands by his face a lot. It's like, is this my head?
Yeah.
It's I can't fight, bro. I can't move.
Yeah, right.
He takes a while to get his legs going proper.
Or his big hands.
Yeah, and Godzilla's still fucking pissed. I mean, he's you're still an alien, and I'm gonna fucking kill you for intruding on my planet.
It's hilarious because Godzilla gets his head in there, animal style, bites his neck.
Oh yeah, he doesn't even care. He just charges the motherfucker and starts wrecking his shit. Orga doesn't even fight back at first. He's like, ow, 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 stop!
What is happening?
Right. Why do I need to bother? I have your regenerative stuff.
Right.
And he does. He heals super well. Mm-hmm. And he goes, that's how you like it, Gotti. Bites his arm.
Right. But then the crazy thing is he's able to suck up his energy.
Right.
And apparently
more of those cells.
Supposedly, from what the scientists we've talked about who came up with Regenerator G1.
The genius.
Yeah, Professor Shinoda. He's over here he's trying to suck up his energy to become Godzilla.
And it's
clone. How'd you know that? How do you know that?
Right. Well, you see, he's turning green and he's growing some scales and stuff.
And I would actually, in an alternate world, I tend to end movies in a very comedic way rather than serious. I would love to see them go I'm gonna bite your face off. It's no, you're not. It's stop sucking my jeans. I'm still gonna bite your face off. Until eventually, wait. Actually, I can really see where you're coming from, Godzilla. I think
who wouldn't want to be me?
Exactly. You're awesome. Let's go frolic in the water and eat some fish and totally come up and teach these punk people some.
You know lessons. What? This place actually ain't so bad, but I do kind of want to destroy it though. Yeah. Together.
Walk off again, bro.
Yes, what's up?
Unfortunately, Godzilla has the Highlander syndrome of there can be only one.
Oh, and trust me when I say that Godzilla will always have the Highlander.
Takes no shit.
There can only be one Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. And if there's more than one, which there have been many imposters,
many imposters,
he is quick to be rid of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
By force.
Exactly. He doesn't get the title King of Monsters for no reason.
Maybe that's what we should do. We should put up a mirror in front of Godzilla and just watch him
see what happens.
Yeah.
He'll destroy it immediately.
Oh, yeah. Just shattered.
Yeah. He'll pitch a shit fit, break it, and then be fine.
I've never heard the term pitch a shit fit, but I love it, dude. That's my favorite. Yeah. Wow. That's perfect. I want to hold on to that one for later and put it in my pocket. Dude, yeah. But anyways, there's a punch, he starts blasting the hell out of this guy. And then this weird moment happens where, I thought they were really bonding over something. They stop fighting.
Oh, yeah. This is after he, obliterates him.
Yeah, a couple times.
With the heat ray.
I thought he was, giving up and was going to be here, take this as a peace offering or whatever. But, he opens up his mouth and, unfolds his throat, apparently.
A last-ditch effort. If I can't beat him, I'm going to eat him.
And Godzilla was like, well, here we go.
And all right, fuck it, we ball. Come here.
And then and then runs headfirst into his throat. And you're like, oh, what is...
It's a really, French kiss gone wrong moment. Right.
I mean, imagine... Have you ever seen a snake eat its own egg?
Yeah.
How it, dislocates its jaw and, all that kind of stuff. Just imagine this really gross monster doing the same thing.
Yeah.
No. But instead of it being predator versus prey, sucking it up as it's constricting or whatever, just imagine it opening its mouth, standing still, and Godzilla running headfirst into it ah!
Yeah.
And it's going headlong. Yeah. not giving up. And he does that. And of course,
I'm going to rip out your innards.
And I was like, dude, charge up, bro.
This is it. He starts like shifting and molding into Godzilla a little bit. And you're like, what's happening here?
Yeah, it's like, you better do something quick. And there's a moment of silence, and you hear the crackle.
Mm-hmm. You see the color.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, it's not just like on his spine. It's
his whole body.
Yeah, it's radiating everywhere. It's like, all right, he's taking it up to 8.
Yeah, he's going nuclear.
We have not yet seen 10.
Right.
And so he ends up like charging it up real big. And then, obviously in this moment, because again, we're watching this and there's no dialogue happening.
Right.
We're adding our own stuff. And he's like, joke's on you, bitch. And like, he charges up.
Orga fucking explodes.
I mean, explodes. Like I'm pretty sure it sends
you see like a little bit of his face. Like he has the realization like, oh shit.
But Godzilla's already like,
nah, you're done, son.
Waist deep in this guy's mouth, and he's like, and you're like, holy shit, dude, what's happening?
And I love that we have original recipe Godzilla just sitting there looking at extra crispy Godzilla.
And this wrong version, this twisted version of himself.
Like, he just roars.
It sends this shockwave out, and of course everyone, and again, this entire fight sequence, like in every other Godzilla movie, there's always like this safe perch or this safe place that all the humans are watching
the
on.
Stands.
Yeah, the stands that everyone's watching this fight go on from. Yeah. It blasts them all back, and they're like, oh my god, it's so crazy. Right. And then, of course, in true Godzilla fashion, he just sits there and goes, ah! He just like starts screaming.
Screams in victory.
Oh man, it's perfect.
This is the most mismatched thing, I think, in the entire movie. We have this reporter lady go, human people made this monster.
No, and now that was the scientist.
Okay, and now
the weird part is that she starts it off. It's like, well, that was ironic, and then the motherfucker like exacerbates on it. Like, wow, yeah, we kind of made him. He's kind of our problem,
right?
But now he's protecting us, and then we see him go and like atomic breath,
right?
Like
it's like, why does he keep
rest of
protecting
Tokyo while he's going? Our protector, like,
right.
It seems like he's just destroying Tokyo.
Oh, yeah. Right. You know what? That's okay.
Shinoda goes like, maybe it's because there's a little bit of Godzilla in all of us.
Yeah, but the thing is,
immediately cuts to him like destroying the city,
thrashing the city. Like the thing is, it feels like
might as well just be saying, I fucking hate you all,
dude. Like it really feels like a drunk man, like a drunk bodybuilder that is aggressively celebrating. Yeah. He blows up the guy, and of course, as we pan out, we see him just standing there with his fists at his side like Godzilla does, and it just feels like he's going, yes!
This is the equivalent of him popping the champagne bottle and spraying it everywhere.
Right. He's just reveling in his victory, like, and he's just kicking this building. Freaking
now I'm gonna
hell
fuck
yeah.
you shit.
Yeah. And of course, everyone's like, he's our protector, and he's still like, hell yeah, hell. I mean, blasting fire everywhere. And he's like, frick that building too, dude. It has that energy of like he's just celebrating, and we're all like, look at that, Godzilla just being our champion. As he
I got the fucking sideshow out of the way. Let me finish my job.
Yeah, and of course,
Excuse me.
I make a joke. He's going down this main highway, and he kicks a building. I'm like, I didn't even like that bridge anyway. He's like, I'm just like,
clean up your fucking shit. I hate all these cars.
I love it. It's perfect.
Okay, so I'm picturing it like if you could like transpose it into like a cop movie.
Yeah.
You have your classic partner thing, just like, oh man, they save these people.
Yeah.
And then see one of the cops like, oh man, he's doing this great press conference.
Yeah.
While his partner just taking a bat to
yeah. Oh yeah. He's like kicking over a mailbox or whatever. Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, hell yeah. He grabs his gun.
Sick of these TPS reports.
Yeah. He shoots a vending machine. Bow. I was like, hell yeah.
Our earnings are gonna be through the roof this year.
Dude, I love it.
Yeah, then like knocks over the vending machine, like beats it.
Oh yeah. He's doing all kinds of stuff.
Ridiculous.
I love it. There's a whole. I mean, it's perfect. I love this
amazing
stuff. Well, I got a little bit of trivia for you guys if you guys are ready. It says that this is the first incarnation of Godzilla in a film to actually be green in color. Godzilla has traditionally been depicted as being green on posters and in numerous official non-film media, but his skin color in the films has always been kind of a charcoal gray color. But
I'm going to be honest with you guys. He looked pretty charcoal.
I know he does, yeah. I think some of that may be probably green screen artifact, potentially, but that's what I think, at least, is what it is. In addition, this is also the first incarnation of Godzilla in a film whose atomic breath is the color of fire, while it has often been shown
being blue.
Breathing literal fire in posters, for this. So,
right.
It is also sometimes assumed that the incarnation, this incarnation of Godzilla reappeared in the second film of the Millennium series, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus.
And we never see this
Yeah,
version
exactly.
of it again.
And then due to possessing the same design and numerous other similar characteristics, however, that is a different incarnation of Godzilla, as Godzilla vs. Megaguirus is set in a separate continuity from.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Okay.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
They waste no time just doing whatever the fuck they want.
I mean, hey, you can do whatever you want.
It's great.
It is often mistakenly believed that this Godzilla is meant to be the adult Godzilla Jr., who was shown being revived as an adult and taking his father's place.
You gotta remember that scene. That's
I do, yeah.
My favorite shot from the Heisei era.
Taking his father's place at the end of Godzilla vs. Destroya.
Mm-hmm.
This is untrue, unfortunately, as Godzilla 2000 Millennium is a direct sequel to the original 1954 film.
Ain't that some shit? Never heard of that before.
Yeah, right. And is not connected to the Heisei series. This incarnation of Godzilla is described by Godzilla JP Toho's official website for the Godzilla series as the second Godzilla to appear in the film's continuity after the 1954 Godzilla film.
Wow. That's a pretty drastic change.
Right. While Godzilla Jr. was the third Godzilla in the Heisei continuity. So, cool. So, yeah, little fun fact for you there. Apparently that the tanks seen during the Godzilla's landfill scene were all CGI. And
really?
I think the close-up shots were all real, but the ones that were far away of him, like the shots of him, those were all CG. That's what they're talking about. Definitely. So shots of him. I already told you the tagline one, and it says that the large black plates on the Godzilla suit were made of fiberglass and weighed 20 pounds each.
Whoa.
Yeah, so there was potentially over 100 pounds worth of suit on that man.
Damn. And he still moved really well, so he must be a pretty powerful predator himself.
Yeah, right.
Of course.
Pretty big guy. Yeah. In the Japanese version of the film, Orga's roars are derived from Crustaceous King Ghidorah's growl and from the rebirth of Mothra 3, apparently.
Oh, wow.
It's a little fun. There's all kinds of little fun facts here. So
that is cool.
But yeah, what a fun ride this
Good
film
movie
was.
To no one's surprise.
I know. So what is the next film that we're going to try and get? The next Godzilla film we want to show Dominic, because I do want to hold ourselves to this because I think it's going to be
tough. That's really tough.
Do you want to do Megalon?
I really want to watch Megalon.
Yeah,
Dude,
we could do.
I want to see Megalon.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
We won't jump you into this one quite yet. I do kind of want you to see some other ones before I jump you into this one.
I've got more homework to do. Okay.
Yeah, before we get into the one what is it called? Final Wars. I want to say All Stars.
We are
Godzilla All Stars.
We are saving Final Wars. That's going to be our final episode for this series of Godzilla films.
Okay.
It has to be the last one.
The last one?
Yes.
Oh, come on, dude.
You cannot.
I mean, come on.
Cannot.
I was gonna say
It
let's
is
do
non-negotiable.
I was gonna say let's do it for like our 200th episode or something. I know we still have a lot more.
There's a lot more to go through.
You're right. Okay. I mean, it just depends how many Godzilla films are there.
I mean, I'm gonna have to figure out which ones we've watched already and scratch them off the list.
Well, then you go ahead and get on that.
I'll get the legal pad ready. Don't you worry about it.
Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, is there any other films that you have that you wanted to bring to this podcast that you wanted to watch and do an episode on?
It really depends on what tone. You know, I know that I have a track record of really heavy films.
Yeah.
So I'd kind of like to break that a little bit.
I'm also not opposed to it either. So I like both.
Yeah. You have the my favorite movies basically. I would love to hear what you guys think about them. Chef, No Reservation, Robots, and My Cousin Vinny. My Cousin Vinny is...
love My Cousin Vinny.
Exactly.
I've never seen that, but I got told recently that I should watch My Cousin Vinny.
It's so good.
It is a fantastic movie, down to, I think, the way that the story is built. You know, we have several try-fail cycles where our character learns more and more. Your classic comedic, like, overcoming of events. Yeah. And a really just fantastic power couple. Their relationship seems very genuine. Super cool.
That's awesome.
So
maybe that one next. What is there any more that you want to? I guess is there any film that you haven't seen that you want to watch that you possibly want to do an episode on?
Godzilla Megalon.
Okay. Well, then I guess we'll put that on the list. Well, we need to schedule that one out because that does sound like a good one.
We already did an episode on that one, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, but we still need to watch. I still need to watch.
Yeah, we'll definitely watch it.
Yeah, put it on the calendar though.
It's gonna be so good.
That is a fun one. Oh gosh. Well, anyways, you have anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to talk about in this episode, or you want to bring up? You want to shout out?
I like when Godzilla breathes the fire and he blows stuff up.
Yeah. I like that he just gets at it. He just punches real hard.
He just doesn't care.
Nah.
He'll do whatever it takes.
Right.
How about you, Dominic?
What was your favorite part of this film?
Yeah.
It's really tough to say. I do like it when Godzilla throws down and wins. But I think the thing that made me laugh the most was that this 6-year-old girl was the secretary, business manager, cook, power manager,
jack of all trades.
Oh yeah, was just doing everything.
Yeah, and she was rocking it all. And just it was so just delightfully crazy to see, and it always seemed like it fit, but it was always surprising. Like, okay, what else does this girl do?
Right. Yeah. She was getting stuff done.
Mm-hmm. And he was checking printouts from a computer and talking to people.
Yeah.
Which I guess was doing the nerd stuff, and she was doing the cool stuff.
Right. It felt like he was doing very important work, but she was the one running this company.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He may be the face of the name, but she's definitely the
backbone.
the backbone of how this.
In 3 years, she's gonna hire someone younger and better than him to read the machines.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He'll be there in spirit because that's her father. But
he's gonna be crying in the back. I'm like, she was like a shark. I'm so proud of her.
Right.
She was like Godzilla.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I love it. I guess another thing that we haven't done in a while, and I haven't done this because I know this is Ethan's thing, but I kind of felt like doing it again recently. Yeah. But I know we normally, whenever Ethan was always around, before he's taken his hiatus.
A brief sabbatical.
Right. He used to say, describe this film in 3 words. And what was the other thing he used to say? It was describe this movie in 3 words, and then he used to say, oh gosh, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah,
anyways.
I don't know.
I guess friendly neighborhood lizard.
Yeah.
Geniuses, imbeciles, and lizards.
I love it. That's perfect.
Ampersand doesn't count as a word.
No. Yeah, it's just
go.
I'm gonna go with atomic ass kicking.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to go with Oh shit! I forgot what was it? Shit fits. Yeah. What did you say?
Pitch and shit
fits. I love that.
Or a lizard punches clone.
Yeah. That's a good one. Well, anyways, thank you so much for listening. If you're looking to reach out to us or to find out all the different platforms that we host this podcast on, you can go to linktree/retrospectpod, or you can just type in Aftermath on all the major platforms, and you should be able to find us that way. Or I think if you drop a bomb into the ocean deep down, and then of course, let some radioactivity happen,
we will awaken.
We will awaken at the bottom of the ocean. That is one way you can find us as well. Do you happen to know any other ways of listening to this podcast?
I hear that if you look really hard at the moon and clap 3 times, the echo comes back as actually our voices humming sweet melodies.
Right. That is a new one, I think, actually.
Yeah, that'll work. We could pull that off.
Right. I also heard if you just open your mailbox and scream into it, it'll come back in the mail for you.
Same day delivery.
Same day delivery.
Do you need a stamp or
No.
Wow,
It
really
just and now you do have to wait like a little bit. Like a little bit of loading time. It has to buffer.
Okay.
But once you full send it comes back.
The old buffering mailbox.
Yeah,
screen.
you know how it goes. Yeah. But anyways, until next week, thank you so much for listening.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.